All right, so a couple videos ago, I believe it was titled Scrapping Lights and Transformers. I mentioned in that video that I was after some transformers at an auction, and you have to stay tuned to see if I got them. Well, I got some transformers here. I got a whole mess of them. And we're gonna break these down, and I'll go over them, and I'll tell you how I did on them, how much I spent on them, and what my goal is to make off of them. So I got a total of 10 transformers. And if you've seen the thumbnail, you'll see the biggest one that this shop's ever had. It's a new record for us. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with these smaller ones right here. This came in a group, and I bid $85 on it. 85 bucks was the bid, the hammer price, but there's a 15% buyer fee, which was $12.75, and then they tacked on top of that sales tax, $6, or it was 7.25%. So I paid a total of $103.91 for all these smaller transformers, or you can look at it as $17.31 each. All right, there's 6 of them. Then I got this one here. I paid $45 total, or the hammer price, and taxes and fees were $51.01. Not a bad one. Looks like brand new. It's wrapped in shrink wrap. Here's one that I paid $120 and $19 in fees, and was it $870 or $570 in taxes for $146.70. It's a good size one, not bad. Here's the one where I think I got doinked on this one here. I was looking at the picture, and it looked a lot bigger in the picture to me than it does here. And this one, I bid this one up to 50 bucks in a total of 61.13. I think I'm going to take a loss on that one, but that's all right. But here's the granddaddy of them all right here. I bid this one $130 and $9.42 tax, $19.50 for the fee, for a total of $158.92. So that's my big hope right there to save me. Now, I spent a total $525.67 on all these transformers here, and my goal is to make $1,000. Can we do that? I don't know, but I'm going to try to break all these down in this one video, and we'll go ahead and weigh these up individually, and then I'm just going to start breaking them down, and we're just after the copper in them. Hopefully there's no aluminum. And I had it figured out that I think I need about 225 pounds of copper out of all of these, and then I think the shred will take care of the rest of it to get us to our $1,000 goal. And right now the copper price for number 2 copper is $4.28, and I think it's just going up. So we'll start by weighing them up, and we'll start breaking them down. All right, so I got my crane scale all set up here. We got her at 0. I hope it's heavy. All right, so this one comes in at 201 pounds. All right, let's weigh the little ones up here. 50 pounds. So each one of those smaller ones weigh 50 pounds. That's not good. All right, so it looks like this housing is just broke off of this thing here. So go ahead and find a place to hook up and lift it up. All right, so this one comes in at 168 pounds without the housing on it. All right, not too bad. All right, then we got this little one. This is the one I think I got. I ripped myself off on this one here. Comes in at 80 pounds. Now for the big dog. Yeah, she's dangling off the ground there. Comes in at 587 pounds. That one better make us some money. All right, let's start breaking them down. All right, so I'm gonna start with this little one here that I think I'm gonna lose money on. Might as well get it out of the way. So there's the inside of it. It's like it's got at least some copper bars right here. All right, so here's that first transformer that I got tore apart. I'm gonna go ahead and do one of these smaller ones here that I have 6 of. And then we'll go ahead and add up and see how close to our $1,000 goal we are. So I'll do this one here and then I'll probably just off camera do the other 5. And then we'll get into the big ones. All right. All right, so I have 2 of those transformers broke down. The first one that I broke down was the one that I paid $61.13, the one that I thought I was gonna lose money on. And then the second one I broke down was one of those smaller ones that came in a group of 6 that I paid $17.31 for each of them. I only broke one down so far, but I just want to get us caught up to see where we're at, how close to that $1,000 goal of mine we are. So I'm going to go ahead and weigh up that first one that we did, that we paid $61.13. Got plenty of shred here. Let's see, there's all the stuff on the table here. And we'll weigh this shred up. Okay, so the shred comes to 55.2 pounds. And we had a little bit of brass here. Put this on here. Tear that out. Yeah, not too much, but every bit counts. 0.8. All right, I stripped down all that wire that I had there and got some bare bright out of it. So 2.25 pounds of bare bright. And the number 2 copper here. This is what we got in the number 2 copper. And that comes to 15.5 pounds. So we didn't do as bad as I thought. All right, and so for the second one, the smaller transformers, I still have 5 more to do. This is all the wire that I got out of it. And it comes to 0.35 pounds of wire at $1.25 a pound. And this one had quite a bit of aluminum in it. As you was watching me break that down, you realize those were actually like Variacs in those smaller ones. So not a whole lot of copper in them. You know, I broke Variacs down before and you don't get much copper off of them, but that's the way those transformers are set up. So they had some aluminum in them, and we had, this is all cast aluminum. 2.2 pounds. And our shred comes to 44.05. All right, a little bit of brass. 0.75 pounds. And the number 2 copper. Not real good. 2.45 pounds. 2.45 pounds. All right, so let's get a rundown of where we're at, how close we are to that $1,000. Okay, so here's where we're at. On that first transformer I broke down, it cost us $61.13. As you can see, I've added all the shred, the brass, the bare bright, and the number 2 copper, and it come to a total of $82.33. And that little one that I ran, that cost us $17.31. We didn't make very much money off of it, and we actually took a dime loss on it. $17.21. So my goal of $1,000, you minus the $82.33 and the $17.21, that puts us to $900.46 left in the goal, and we still have, you know, these and this one, and we've got this one left, and then we've got the big one. I think this big one's going to be quite a surprise. I'm hoping for a whole lot of money out of that one there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and break these down here and just get them out of the way, and then I'll move on to this one right here. All right, Charlotte, I just finished tearing down these smaller transformers. Here's the total for those smaller transformers with the Variacs in them. The shred, we got 205 pounds at 7 cents, $14.35. The brass, we had 3.55 pounds at $2.50 a pound. That's $8.88. Bare bright, we had 1.2 at $4.50. That's $5.40. And the aluminum, 9.95 pounds at 60 cents. That is $5.97. And the number 2 copper, we had 10.2 pounds at $4.28. Comes to $43.66, and a total for just these last 5, $78.26, and you add that with the other one, we made $95.47, but we spent $103.91, leaving us a deficit of $8.44. So not the best, but we need $822.20 more to get our goal. So, all right. So this is the next one I'm gonna tear apart here. We got $55.01 in this. So see if we can make some money on that. Okay, good. All right, that one went pretty fast, so let's go ahead and weigh up the shred here. All we had was shred and number 2 copper. All right, so we had 100 and 69 pounds of shred. All right, and let's check out the copper here. All right, so got this bucket on here. Let's tear it out. Had some foil in that. I guess not too bad there. 22.35 pounds of copper. All right, let's see where we're at. All right, so we did a little better on this one here. You know, total cost was $55.01. We got 22.35 pounds of copper, and that pays us $95.66. And the shred is 169 pounds at 7 cents a pound, gives us $11.83 for $107.49. So you take that price off there, that means we need $714.71 to go. I know I mentioned I was guessing I need about 225 pounds of copper. And so far we've got 53.95. So can we make that up here? The last two transformers that we have. All right, I got a lot of hopes on this one here. So let's go ahead and start working on this one right here. All right. All right, we're gonna tear this one apart here. Made in the USA. All right. What? Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to put a hold to this one here. As you can see, that's aluminum. That bad boy's all aluminum. So we did get some copper wire out of it. This was starting off so good. Copper washers. I thought, wow, this is nice. Then you get this wire right here. Those connectors are steel. Huh, what a bust. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna move on to the big one. Hopefully that can bail us out. We got a ways to go. All right, but before we move to the next one here, I'm just gonna show you this. That cost us $146.70, and I did get just a little bit of Bare Bright, a little bit of number 2, some wire, and the rest of it, I'm just gonna throw it in shred. And that got us $24.08. It only cost us $146.70. But that did bring our goal down to $6.90.63. Now here's what I'm just gonna throw into shred. I've already figured it out. It's gonna take me about a half hour, 45 minutes to cut that aluminum out of there for probably another $4 or $5. So I'm gonna write it off. And we're gonna move into this in here. So we need a lot of money out of this big one here. So let's go ahead and get busy working on that and see how close to our $1,000 we can get. $690, I don't know. Oh, there for a minute, my heart just sunk because that looked exactly like the other one, the way the wire was. So I cut a piece off of it and you can see it is clearly copper. So, all right, it just made me happy again. Let me tear this apart and we'll weigh it up. All right, so I have that all stripped down, and here's what we have. Look at this copper here. It's actually coated copper. This is copper, but it's got a coating on it, and the resin is on the outside of this. So if I try to turn this in, they're going to dock me, and they're just only going to pay coated wire price. So what I did was I stripped some of it down. Look at this. This is at worst #1 copper. Now here's a piece of Bare Bright. This is a 12 gauge solid core Bare Bright. And if you put those together, I might even be able to pass this off as Bare Bright. I don't know, but like I said, at least #1 copper here. So here's what we have here. This coated wire here. I'm gonna go ahead and run it through my stripper here. Another one, and it comes out like this. Now it's going to take me a little extra work to do this, but when you're talking coated wire, you're going to get, I think, $3 a pound versus Bare Bright's going for $4.50, and #1 copper is going for $4.40. So I mean, you're making $1.50. So I'm gonna have to do a little extra work, but that's all right. And there we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and weigh this all up. I'm just gonna put it down as #1 copper. See how much we got here. All right, put it in this tub here. Tear that out. All right, That is not bad at all. 104.2 pounds. And then I can weigh up this shred here. Let's do that real quick. All right, let's weigh the shred up here. Huh. That's a lot of shred. 460 pounds. All right, and I got a little bit of bare bright right here. I'll tear this bucket out here. And a little bit of bare bright. And 2.7 pounds of bare bright. All right, so let's see where we're at. That was the last item in this auction here. Let's see how we did towards the goal. I know I didn't make the goal, but we did a little bit better on this last transformer here. So let's go ahead and add these numbers up and see where we're at. All right, so I got a couple of numbers here for you. This last transformer cost us $158.92. The number one copper, it was 104.2 pounds at $4.40 a pound, comes to $458.48. And we had 2.7 pounds of bare bright at $4.50, that comes to $12.15. And that shred, 460 pounds at 7 cents, is $32.20, giving us a total revenue on this one transformer, $502.83. So that takes us down to a shortfall of $187 off of our goal. So yeah, I guess that's not too bad. I'm not going to complain too much about it. We had that one bad transformer that we didn't get any money off of. So the final is, we spent $525.67 on all them transformers, and we turned it into total revenue of $812.20. All right. I'm content with that. I'm happy with that. Make about $300 almost. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video, and we've got some scrap to get to the scrap yard so we can get paid. All right, thanks for watching.